My name is Tanisha.
And I'm Kiara.
And you're now entering the sister chat. Welcome to our podcast, Main Event Mamas.
So thank you guys for joining us. If you haven't, had a moment, we want to give you this time right here to hit that bell on YouTube and subscribe. We're also on Spotify as well. So this is your moment to like and subscribe. We'll remind you again, because you know the YouTube hustle. But this episode is all about WrestleMania. So, Tanisha.
Yes.
I have questions.
So do I.
I have questions. But I want to throw a question out to our audience first today.
All
because
right.
we would like you to engage with us and comment, send us messages. Again, we're on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and newly on Twitter. So if you still on X or that thing over there, we're there too. We're there. Internet wrestling community, but y'all could just miss me with the drama. I'm just going to tell you that. That being said, how did you feel overall about this year's WrestleMania?
Well, overall, I definitely like night one. That was my favorite night. Night two, which we kind of suspected, I definitely walked away a couple times.
You walked away?
Yeah, it was playing. I could hear it, but I did other things. Because, like I said, I didn't really care too much. I mean, night one, I sat down. I think I got up once. Maybe twice. And those are the matches that I told you I didn't care about either. So I kind of like
sure
walked away.
That's not your ADHD talking? Like it was too long.
You know what? It was too long. But I also expected it to be long. And then that's when I understand why it's 2 nights. But there's been other WrestleManias that was 2 nights that were still epic. Like you had to watch both nights.
I agree.
I feel like night 2, they definitely could have left the main event and put the main event in the middle. That didn't need to be at the end. But whatever.
All right. We're going to kick off. We're going to start about night 1. We're going to go match by match. Night 1 was my favorite. I'm not going to lie. And I sat down and watched the entire thing. When you get to a certain age, you get tired. Like I'm still in recovery mode from WrestleMania. I still haven't caught up on all the sleep I missed, because we all know I get all my 8 to 9 to 10 hours of sleep.
Oh, see, I'm used to not getting 8 to 10 hours, so this is nothing for me.
No, that's the beauty of teenagers. You can send them off their way, and you can get the rest of your hours of sleep. I sacrificed my love of sleep long enough.
I hear you.
That, I've earned my stripes, if you will. But here, I mean, this was we watched it all. So you know me, I started with the kickoff shows.
I did too, and I normally don't watch the kickoff show, but yep, I
started with the kickoff shows. I watched the entire daggone WrestleMania thing. And you know me, because of my love of comms and PR and my life outside of this, I had to watch the press conferences too.
You did sucker me into watching the press conference that night.
I did.
But you know what? Night 1 I needed to, because night 1 was really good. But we'll talk about that.
Yeah. So night 1 was my favorite. Overall, I thought it was good. I mean, I was excited about night 1 mostly. I had some thoughts about night 2. Definitely. Probably not the thoughts everyone's thinking. Everyone wants to talk about, John Cena. In that situation, so probably not the thoughts. About. No, right? No. Not exactly those thoughts that everyone's having conniption fit. I have other ones. So let's start with the thing that kicked off WrestleMania: Jey Uso and Gunther. I know, yeet. Exactly. I loved it. That was like such a fun match for me. And I don't understand why Jey is getting all this internet hate. Like, I do not understand
what they saying out there, because I sure ain't paying attention.
I mean, I think the match views got like ridiculous amount, thousands of dislikes. And I was like, did we miss the theory here? Like, what happened where people are turning on Jey? Like, I have been waiting for Jey to be champion for a minute, I feel like. And I don't know. What do you think? What do you think is causing this discord in the WWE universe, if we will?
I mean, I think the reason why, this is the reason I think, is because they actually didn't expect him. They said they wanted him to win, but they didn't expect him to win it. And I also don't think they expected him to tap out Gunther. And I understand why he tapped him out. Let me tell you why I understand why he tapped him out. First off, you tapped my brother out. You tapped me out. Like your move is to chokehold and get you to tap all the way out. So it only made sense for him to do that. Like, it just made sense for that to happen. And I'm not mad at it. Like, I need you to understand that I can still pull your move on you. And it was like, the moment he applied the pressure, Gunther was like, oh, wait, oh, okay. He couldn't handle it because he knew Jay wasn't going to let go. Jay was going to apply that pressure because now this was I'm revenging.
Right.
Because I literally watched you choke my brother out more than once.
That's true. Wait, did he choke his brother out more than once?
Yeah, I think so. On the thing, he kept doing it. Now, am I confusing?
I mean, I was like, girl,
am I confusing
it's all
him?
A blur. It's all a blur.
Listen, it was a couple of weeks ago, but I mean, I'm almost positive. I mean, guys, you could definitely correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm almost positive he did it at least twice. Like he did it the first time, rubbed all the stuff, then did it again in front of him.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'm sorry.
I was like I said, I'm almost positive because I'm like, he did all that nasty stuff with the blood, but he did it again, even closer to Jay, knowing that Jay couldn't get him.
That's fair.
So I mean, I think that just was I think that was perfect. I think that was amazing to do that.
So, I think it brought all the energy, right? It brought all the energy and the excitement into WrestleMania. It was a great way to start it. I do feel like there was some kind of like discord there. I'm not sure what it is. There was a little bit, it's almost like when you hear a song and it's the wrong note and you're kind of like, okay. And so I'm wondering if that's what has people kind of like feeling some kind of way. But I do want to say, honestly, and I think it's important to note that Jay did more than 5 moves.
He sure did. He sure did. He pulled it out. He made sure that you understood that he was a star and he deserved to be here regardless of all the noise that was happening. He deserved to be there for sure.
Yes, and watching him on Monday Night Raw solidified that for me as well. So I think that's all we're going to talk about. I'm happy Gunther's not the champion anymore. I'm not sure I thought he was doing much for the belt.
But he's a sore loser, but I guess we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that later because I definitely think I know where Jay's first challenger might be coming from. So we're going to dig into that a little bit later. All right. The next match was a match I know you did not care about, but I also want to say we were right about Jay yeeting. So we got the chance to yeet first thing. So that was great. So now this is the War Raiders and the New Day. We're going to keep this one brief because I know you didn't care. So I'll start it if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
I still didn't care at the end of this match. I said in my predictions that the New Day had to win, and they did. And the way they did it was expected, heel fashion, if you will. They cheated, and it was expected. It went an appropriate amount of time. I did enjoy. I mean, it might have even been a little long.
Yeah, I feel like they was trying to fill in space.
It might have even been a little long. I mean, maybe Jay was eating some of that time back. How long it took him to get back to
true
up the stairs with the audience. But
and that girl trying to, oh Lord. Anyway, go ahead.
Yes,
keep going.
I just please don't touch people. Y'all ruin it for me when y'all all trying to touch. Stop touching Jay when he's trying to go up the stairs. He looked like he's about to die, and y'all are just touching on him. And I get it. We want to support his efforts and his championship, and we want to celebrate with him. But that little kid who had the pen and the paper, absolutely
listen. Not. He was like, "Can you please?" No, I'm trying to walk up the stairs to get out of here. Maybe I'll come back.
It was a struggle bus. So yeah.
Anyway, let's go back to.
Yeah, so back to War Raiders and New Day. Yeah, so okay, fine. They won, exciting, woo woo. Hopefully this championship starts to mean something more because the New Day are champions. But again, I think it speaks to the same problem I always talk about, which is the tag team division on Raw is not the same as what's going down on SmackDown. So needs improvement. That's my grade for that match. Any other thoughts?
I mean, I just have a fashion thought. Who told Xavier that was cute to have his hair out in the middle? Like, it seemed like they didn't have enough time to finish his hair.
Shots fired.
And then on top of that, you had Kofi next to you. Dude, put a pasty on. Like, you look crazy. You look stupid.
So you don't like his mustache. That's what we're talking about.
He don't got one.
That's right. The lack of a mustache.
You look between that and how y'all walked out, and I was just like, here y'all go again, trying to be mean and the look.
It's hard.
Y'all just look ridiculous.
It's hard to see them as heels, right?
And it is, but it's not even about that because they could be a heel. I've seen Xavier be mean, so it's not even like I've never. But it's just like, do y'all have to look ridiculous on top of that trying to be a heel? Because it seems like y'all having an identity crisis. Like, you guys don't know who you are. And I get it. You're trying to figure it out, especially since Big E is no longer a part of New Day. But he technically wasn't a part of New Day for about a year or two before y'all decided to kick him out. Like, to be honest, he wasn't there. So to now have an identity crisis.
Do you think it's an identity crisis or just that they haven't figured out?
Well, if you haven't figured it out, you're in identity crisis.
Okay. Maybe I just feel like they haven't figured it out yet. And yes, that hair thing, I don't get it. It was funny. I did notice that. I said, so we just stopped halfway through, and that's when I would have went back to the hairstylist and been like, oh, that thought. But then again, I know that New Day often does a lot of references to like anime and stuff like that. So I just assumed,
I know. I know
I didn't
that,
know that.
Kofi plays, I mean, not Kofi, Xavier plays video games, and he has like so I get that. So I understand. And I know most of WrestleMania was sponsored by 2 video games. So I know, and because even when the War Raiders came out, it was like, what are y'all doing? What are you wearing? Why are you wearing that? What's going on? And then it took for us to see at the bottom, y'all are video game characters.
I still thought it was stupid.
Okay. But yes, I do. But the one positive thing I would say is that I am excited as being African American, that our tag team male division are both African American.
That's fair.
But like you said, it was either win or don't win. And if you didn't win, you had to figure what y'all was gonna do next, because
it's not working. It's not working. Like you said last week, it's not working. It's not working. It's, even though we were talking about something else, but I think it applies here. All right. The match we were waiting on, we were excited about, was Jade Cargill and Naomi. And I know you have some strong thoughts on this one, but I want to start by saying kudos to Naomi for this outfit, for this attitude, for this makeup, for the heel aura that came through, because I was feeling her that entire night. And I have been feeling her ever since this kind of heel turn a bit too. Mm-hmm. But I was feeling it. I was all in on Naomi, but I think she should have won.
Absolutely. Okay, are you done?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, absolutely. She should have won. She should have won. The reason why is because, once again, you guys are feeding into that no one cares about her. That's number one. Number two, Jade is not ready. She wasn't ready. She shouldn't, she's not ready to be at the main roster. I'm not saying that she's not talented. She's just not ready. She should start at NXT and work her way back up. She needs more developmental. She is not fully ready. Yeah. And on top of that, then to have the icing to have her win. What? Why? Yeah. Why?
I didn't get it either.
And you know how I hate setups. And of course, now as adults, we pay attention. But I really wasn't trying to pay attention. And I saw a couple setups and I was just like, Jade, you still fucked up. How you still fuck up? How you still fuck up? I don't understand. You're still doing the same mistakes you were doing when you first got here a year ago. So what have you been doing? What developmental have you been doing? Like I said, I'm not trying to take away from her being talented, because I know she is. I'm not trying to take away from her beauty, because she's gorgeous. I'm not even trying to talk as a hater just because I don't particularly care for her as a wrestler or as a person. But whatever. I know that was kind of mean. My bad. But I also have history with Naomi. I've watched Naomi from being a Funkadactyl to being a singles competitor, from being with when she became another heel.
Bad? Was that what it was called?
That's what Bad, with Sasha Banks and Tamia. I've watched all the transitions. Now, granted, I did not follow her when she went to AEW or TNA.
She didn't go. She went to TNA, babe.
My bad. I'm trying to remember. I don't watch these two things, but I did not really follow. I followed on Instagram and stuff like that, but I didn't really watch. But it's just something about that no one's understanding why she turned heel.
I
get it, but I'm saying as in her winning over Jade would have solidified why she turned heel.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. I think it was
the storytelling, they could have still kept going, because now Jade's like, oh, you got me. But then that's when we introduced Bianca, because the SmackDown before, it was like, hey, remember me? Now I got to sit here and talk to you over here. I don't want to talk to you. Then now all of a sudden Jade gets in there. Now she kind of blocks Naomi. She goes, but wait, no, girl, we need to see, because even at the the post show, Jay was even talking about, well, we came in as the big three, but I feel great. Girl, you still talk about trying some sisterhood and y'all sisters. Girl, no. Yes, she probably was a sisterhood, but you're still missing the point. And that's the problem.
Because Naomi is that girl. And I don't know why they haven't given her the due to remember that at all. That's a little frustrating for me for sure. So yeah, I agree. Thought that this could have been done better. Would have liked the finish if she would have won, because it would have made a continued story make sense. I think on the post show, they talked a little bit about how whether it was still going to keep going or what was going on, what was going to be next. They asked her, and she's like, well,
she don't know, because she don't got nothing next.
Well, I don't think it's over. And I was like, but it feels very over to me. So I don't know, right? So that's the thing. So yeah, that's that.
All right, so next, let's talk about it. What's the next thing, Mr. LA Knight?
The U.S. Championship match with LA Knight and Jacob Fatu, who also, I think I got this one right too. I think I was excited for a Jacob Fatu switch up. Right?
I think I did. I voted for him too. I think so.
Yes. I think we both solidified. I was excited for a switch up. This match was fun. I will say I was laughing and yelling because Jacob Fatu is such a character. He is so animated, and his moves look hella brutal. To be honest. And LA Knight, I thought they had great chemistry in the ring. It was fun to watch. I'm happy for the switch up. That's kind of where I sit on that one.
I mean, I'm happy. I mean, I expected nothing less from what they performed, because they're both two talented people. And I expected Jacob to win. I think it was his time, because he definitely has pulled away from the new bloodline. He pulled away from that.
It needs another name.
It does need another name. You're right. But he pulled away from that. And I'm actually surprised. They proved me wrong. No one showed up.
They didn't.
They did not show up. He actually won that all by himself. I am actually proud, because I sure thought that somebody was going to show up, and then that was going to be the thing. So maybe it's not time for them to actually fight against each other yet then.
No, I think it's like a weird mix right now, because we don't really... I think Jacob's just eclipsing what this new bloodline was, right? So even with, the other characters, Solo being the most notable, because he was kind of in charge of the bloodline with, Roman's absence and all that there. His storyline is a little stagnant too. So I always feel like, hopefully, I know that, I think there's a draft they're talking about coming up eventually. Usually a draft is like, what?
It's 2 nights, I think. Or no,
it is, but I don't know if it's after WrestleMania.
Right. I was WrestleMania.
Like, I think after WrestleMania, there's some shifts usually. So I'm hoping that they shift what this new bloodline is and maybe give Solo something else to do. And then I know that both the Tonga brothers are injured. So, I mean, which seems to happen a little bit more with them lately. I mean, in the last couple years too. So it's a weird spot to be in. But I very much am ready for Jacob Fatu to just take off and do his own thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I was excited about El Grande Americano. I mean, I wasn't. That's totally sarcastic.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, no, you weren't. Why be lying to the people? Let's not lie to these people.
Deeply excited about this match. We were just nonstop talking about it. Just kidding. We were not. We really said it should have been relegated to the SmackDown. And this is proved correct by the fact that Ray was injured on that daggone SmackDown. I was like, you could have just let us not have to go through this. But I will say I appreciated them popping in Ray Phoenix, because I am such a huge fan of him.
Right.
And I was excited to see him and Chad Gable. I mean, El Grande Americano kind of...
Thank you!
Get into it. I loved it. I thought there was I love Lucha Libre wrestling in general. That's kind of one of the styles that I enjoy the most, which is why this AAA acquisition that they announced, I'm kind of interested to see what happens here. I don't typically follow AAA, so I don't know what this is going to mean for...
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what was happening. I was just like, oh, everybody's there.
Yeah. And I don't know what this is going to mean for I'm gonna get to that in a minute. For wrestling and the ongoing kind of storylines and stuff. I was like, what does this mean, Triple H? Does this mean you guys are gonna have some input on the stories? Does it mean that we're gonna be trading stars? Because that other guy,
Which one?
I can't. His name starts with a V. Anyway, he was on the press conference too, and he had like a spot in the match too. His name starts with a V. I'm sorry.
I
Out there,
can't
y'all
help
need
you.
to
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead and just tell Kiara what that
I
is.
can't.
But I
help
also
you.
saw him on AEW, and I was not impressed. So that's just say something.
Okay, so then that's
so. But I hear he's great. So I don't know. But anyway, so looking forward to see. Love the match. Looking forward to see what this Triple H thing is going to bring. Triple A thing is going to bring. And then now back to what you said. When you announce something like that and you surround yourself by
a lot
people
of
that nationality or that ethnicity, it does come off kind of campy. Yes, you can be excited about this and we can celebrate the Hispanic culture, Latin culture, and all the amazing things that they bring to the sport. Because truthfully, like I said, I love me some lucha libre, like love it. But watching the faces of the people around was something else. Certainly, there's a lot of background noise too. Like there's a story about Stephanie Vaquer and her previous experience with AAA and her in some domestic situation. I'm not, y'all can go ahead and Google that. I'm not going to give you the download on all that there because I don't have all the details. But it was a little campy because I was like, I wanted to know more about the promotion. I wanted to know more about the stars coming over, and I felt like it just represented more WWE. Look at me. We're pro Latin culture. Even though did we do any kind of like awareness day for Hispanics? I feel like that has gone the way of the DE&I trend that's happening these days, where we pretend we don't do that anymore. But it felt a little campy because I wanted to be introduced to it, I think, a different way. But I also understand that they had a challenge of figuring out how to make it relevant for people who maybe don't know it. Okay. All right. So no thoughts on Rey Fénix, no Grande Americano?
Well, I mean, that was one of the matches I walked away from.
I knew you were going to say that.
So, I mean, I watched it in the beginning and then I went, and then I got up and then I heard, oh no, he won. I was like, oh, he won. I was like, wait, what? And then I watched the replay and then I saw he put the stupid thing in the thing and like, how do y'all not know that he's putting something up here? I said, then on top of that, like, stop it. You're not Eddie Guerrero.
Okay.
Well, that's my piece.
All right, let's talk the WWE Women's Championship about Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. I want to say, because I think I need to start with her entrance, because I love me some Charlotte. That is my queen. I enjoy her. You know how I feel. Very, the sisters love us some Charlotte. Let's not play. So I love me some Charlotte. Tiffany's didn't love the Barbie box. Didn't appreciate the Barbie box. I feel like she
played into the stereotypical
didn't love the Barbie box. Okay. But the outfits, I love Charlotte's entrance. We talk a little fashion here. I loved it. I thought it was everything a queen should be. Tiffany's was very pink. But watching, my only complaint, and I think you mentioned this to me, is like their gear was too close together sometimes. So you're like, ooh, who am I looking at? We got both blondes. We got similar gear. If you're not into the details, it might be hard to follow. But my other thought is this was brutal. Okay, Charlotte is known for these kind of hard-hitting matches. Let's not forget what she did with Rhea. I think that was last year, and it was great. That was like one of my favorite matches to watch ever. But I also feel like Rhea was able to give it as much as she was able to.
Was that last year? I don't think that was last year.
Was not last year? It was the year before?
Yeah,
I know they had like back-to-back
last year she fought.
You sure?
I think she fought Io.
Charlotte fought Io?
I don't think she fought. You know what?
Okay, I will confirm this and I will get
confirm
back to
it,
you.
but
I'll look it up.
Because the reason why I said that is because she was out for a whole year after that match.
Okay, well, tell me what you think about the match, then I'll confirm whether that.
You confirm. I mean, I could be wrong, so I watched her interview, so that's why it popped in my head that I remember that. But I think Charlotte she was brutal, but I also feel like she was too nervous. She wasn't giving it 110%. I think she was Charlotte. I think she was too concerned that if she did certain moves, she was going to hurt herself again. I think she started playing in her head, and I get it from anybody who's ever been injured, especially while doing an activity that you love or a sport. You're cautious about when you come back.
Yeah.
To make sure you're not doing the same thing, or you're like, oh no, I did that and I can't do that again. And then even like when Tiffany loosened up her brace, I was like, oh my God, please.
Yeah, that was stressful.
I get it. Y'all gotta, but then you kept hitting, and to watch like some of that, I know, like, yeah, sometimes it doesn't really hit, but other times you're like, no, that looked like that hit that time, and that looks like pain. And unfortunately, if you've never been injured, you don't understand what the other person's going through, knowing that they have been injured and they had, because she didn't just have a tear, like she had a tear ACL, a tear meniscus, and a something else all in her knee. So she had to get her knee reconstructed.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So I feel like she didn't give us her all, and also too, that should not have been her first match back. She should have eased her way into it. She should have been fighting some other people. And for me, that also lets me feel like my theory is right, because maybe she also didn't feel like she was ready either.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, I want to confirm that last year at WrestleMania 40, Charlotte and Rhea had a match.
Okay. But is that when she got injured though? Or was that after?
No, it was after.
Okay.
No, WrestleMania 40, that was like one of
So maybe it was SummerSlam, I'm thinking. I don't know. She got injured and she was out for a whole year because she was injured.
I don't think it was the big event. I think it was SmackDown. In fact, I remember watching it on SmackDown with her being injured. And
okay. So I will admit that I'm wrong, because I really thought, like I said.
But I remember, because honestly, that was one of my favorite matches.
Well, I mean, I do remember them fighting. I just don't remember it was WrestleMania.
Right. But I was like, that was one of my favorites. You know how I feel about WrestleMania? If you don't, I suggest you check out the previous episode and you'll find out how I love to love all the WrestleMania, and how our brother took me to WrestleMania, how I've also gone to WrestleMania with, I think my aunt took us to WrestleMania. It's a thing. It's a special place in my heart. So anyway, I agree with you. It did seem like there was some nerves happening, which I get it. It's kind of like the yips a little bit, like what gymnasts experience. Like, you're just kind of like, I could get hurt again. It was brutal though. There was definitely some hits of, I really don't like you. I really, especially really
when Tiffany's tooth came out or broke,
okay,
or whatever.
She said she got all her teeth in the video. Okay.
Yeah, but the other video, you can clearly see her tooth. Okay, so let me put it this way. Maybe her tooth didn't get knocked out, but it definitely was pushed in.
It went through some things. It was brutal. There was a lot of boots to the face. So now we're talking a triple threat match with CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. Now, this was one of the things we were super excited about and couldn't wait to see. Tell me,
we the ones.
We definitely the ones, and not the twos. But here we go. So, what you think? How did it go?
I mean, I thought that match was amazing. You had 3 talented individuals in the ring. It was definitely, you didn't know which way it was going to go, how it was going to go. Even just like when CM Punk and Seth went in the ring, went outside the ring, and they were in the audience and they were throwing things. It kind of gave you like a little glimpse of like hardcore, when they used to have hardcore matches. They even mentioned Mankind or Mick Foley. Yes, and it was like, Cactus Jack, bang, bang. It gave back those memories, right? And I felt like this was a real professional wrestling match. Like, they really gave it their all. They were very professional in each way. Like I said, I never knew when it was going to turn, how it was going to turn, who actually was going to win. You would think somebody was about to win, then you didn't. Then, of course, I wanted my tribal chief, Roman Reigns, to win. However, absolutely, I wanted him to win. However, he did not. Now, I will say, the end. I did start saying, while I was staring at the screen, oh no, Paul is going to give it to Seth. And my brother Robbie, was like, no, he's going to slide in the middle of the ring and let them fight for it. And I was like, I can see that. But then when he like slid it to CM Punk, to watch Roman's face just go, you really betrayed me? But I knew it was a setup. From how he was coaching him to walk over to Roman. I was like, why are you helping him walk over to Roman? Like, there's no need. And I went, he's going to stay the wise man. That's what I'm talking about. So, of course, when you see it actually happen, it's like, yes. And to see Roman's face smile and lit up, I was like, until...
Didn't last.
Technically, it didn't last, but I also did not see him betraying him still. It still was like, because it was one of those things, like, he's like, look, seeing Seth, I wasn't connecting. I was like, okay, yeah, he's trying to get, because he knows Seth, because, okay, hold on. Let's backtrack. when Seth was talking to Roman in that ring. When Seth was talking to Roman in that ring, girl, I was like, not you sitting here bringing up Dean. Not you. He's like, Moxie. And I was like, wait a minute. Hold on. And you were seeing Roman like, yeah, you're right. He is the, yeah. And then, like, yeah, he took my, yeah. And then I was like, yeah, put him up. Yeah, this is good. And then you're going to, so of course, when I watched him smack him, I was like, well, you know what? I get it. That was well deserved. I was like, because you bringing up people who ain't even here. Okay. So I know he ain't coming down this thing to come and try to help me or save me. So you're bringing him up and you're the one who broke us up in the first place. Okay. Number one, you're the first person who broke us up. Okay. Me and Dean has always been like this. Even when he was getting on my nerves, like this. You were the one who broke us up. Then you try to get us all back together because we knew Dean was leaving. Okay, fine. But then you keep trying to throw the shield in my face. Negro, do you know who I am? Forget you. You know who I am? So that's how I felt, right? So that was kind of cool. Now going back to the betrayal of the wise man. I'm kind of hurt.
You're hurt.
Okay. I am, but I understand why. It's time for our tribal chief to stand on his own.
Yes. I agree.
And I have to say, you were right.
Thank you.
About him. It was time for Seth Rollins. And technically, it does remind me back to the Authority, right? Yes. Seth betrayed him to be a part of the Authority. So, of course, why would he not betray him to try to get back on top? Especially, even with the interviews that Paul Heyman was saying, it was more like, because he mushed me. Well, Negro, you deserve to get mushed. Why you picked your best friend? Why didn't you tell him no? You should have said no. Or you should have like, my tribal chief, let me talk to you in the back. I'm going to say no right now, but let me talk to you in the back because I did promise him this many years ago before you were my tribal chief. Now, would Roman have understand? Probably the hell not, but
I was going to say he didn't. He didn't understand.
Probably, you know why? Because in that moment, we all didn't know what the favor was. Even Paul didn't know what the favor was. Paul thought it was probably him being the main event, so he did it. Like, I got you in the main event. But forgetting the tidbit of, oh yeah, I said if you went to the main event, I was going to walk you down.
I mean, who remembers things you promised your friend 15 years ago?
Exactly.
Not me.
Well, I mean, it depends on what it was. But
that is not a memorable thing. Like, by the way, 15 years ago, remember I told you when I promised you that one day you was going to one day be in this one opportunity, and when that happened, I was going to be by your side? I can't make a promise like that. Because let's be clear, we don't know what 15 years will bring. Am I talking to you? They weren't talking for a while either, if you remember. They were not talking for a while either. Because when he left WWE, it was, it was a moment. And he was pissed. And he distanced himself away from most of the people who were at WWE, according to CM Punk. This is PR talking.
Yeah.
Including Paul, because he needed to move on. And the way that it was done was really atrocious. And so I get that. But who remembers that? Like, listen to me. I can't promise you. The only commitment that I can make for a long-term commitment is marriage. And that's because I've known him for 20 years and at least 15 before we got married. Like, I had to know the course. You can't foresee the future. All this to say.
See, I don't have a mind of a goldfish. I remember everything.
Boo.
So I remember everything. I don't have a mind of a goldfish, so the goldfish don't remember. I'm not saying you don't. I'm not saying
you see how that sounded, though.
I know.
This is why.
I'm not trying to say that you have a mind of a goldfish. What I'm saying is
that was her sidebar. I'm not talking about you, but I'm talking
Wait,
about
I'm gonna die on this podcast. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I was recovering from a cold from my dance tryouts. Anyway, so yeah, I don't have. I remember, like, if it's important details, like little, like really, now like the small stuff. No, I remember everything. I remember what you said. Okay. I remember how you said it. I remember where we were at. Anyway, so now, that's just me. But I get it. I get what you're saying, though. I get what you're saying.
What I'm saying, though, who's going to remember that? But that's not my point. My take on this whole thing, yes, I was right. But before we keep going, I want to make sure you got it all out. Is there anything else you want to spit facts on and your thoughts and feelings about this triple threat match?
Well, the reason why I say he should have remembered, because we got videotape of it. It was videotape. Yes, that's how I saw it. It was the thing where he promised him when CM Punk was either going to leave or was leaving or not leaving or whatever. He was in the ring on the mic telling him that he was going to walk him down the aisle, but it wasn't this time right now. He said, whenever you go to the main event at WrestleMania, I'm going to walk you down. That was a part of the clip and a part of the package. Like him telling him this, that he was going to do it.
You know, I don't really pay attention to CM Punk.
I'm just saying. I know. But it's also was in an area that you weren't really watching, and I really wasn't watching, but they kept playing it over. But ultimately, it was a very thought out match. It was a reason why it was at the end. Because if this happened in the beginning, none of us would have been able to focus on the rest of the matches. None of us would have cared, because everybody would have been talking about how Paul Heyman not just betrayed Roman Reigns, but also betrayed CM Punk for Seth.
Yes, but
I mean, we'll talk about what happened on Raw, which is still
we're gonna get to that. That's our last segment when we recap Raw, because that was a lot. It was a lot on over. But let's say that this match pulled me in every emotional place I think I was in. I stood up for more than half of this match, and it was late for me because I go to bed earlier than that. So I was up, I was yelling at the daggone screens. I had it playing on at least 2 screens and was sitting there like, no, yes, please. I shout out to Roman being like, I'm not about to be out in that audience. Because the way that I knew he wasn't coming out there was so funny. And then CM Punk and Seth, they shut it down like they always do. I told you, I am such a huge Seth fan that I've been wanting him to get his moment. I'm like, what do we got to do for you to be where you need to be? Like, you should not be beneath other people because you're incredible. Which you can't say for everybody. There's some people here who in these matches has had some bad matches, but I haven't seen them with Seth. Okay, not recently, not in Kiara's recent memory at all. And I am such a fan of his work. And seeing him paired with Paul Heyman is awesome. I'm like, where are we going to go? What's going to happen next? It gives me that bloodline cinema feel where you're just eating the popcorn, waiting. What's coming? I can't say much more than you can say about this match. It was extremely well executed. I was 100% heart in my throat at lots of times when we got to the part where I was even watching Heyman. This is one of the things that is his genius. I was watching him so much during the match that I was like, is he okay? He looks like he's about to have a stroke. I think I said that.
Yes. I was like, I mean, he was like, no, don't go after Ro. Wait, no, okay. You even saw him on the sideline talking to CM Punk. You okay? He's gonna.
I was like, somebody get this man his blood pressure medicine. Like, this is not okay. Like, this is not okay. I was like, I don't want to watch him stroke out on my screen. But when we got to the chair area, like, I knew. That was when I knew. I was shocked at first. I was like, he's not going back to Roman. Like, why would he do that? Like, you better not go back to Roman. And I was like, no. I mean, again, I am a Roman fan. He is my tribal chief. One's up.
Our tribal chief.
My husband. Ma'am.
He got a wife. I'm just the... Never mind. It's all right.
Anyway, let's move forward. We're just going to ignore that statement. But... it's just, I was like, no. So I was like yelling when he picks Seth and he hands the chair to Seth. I just can't wait from what next. I'm like, does that mean that we're going to see Roman and CM Punk like come together because now they're
I feel like we're gonna talk about that more because that seems like that's gonna be a thing. Because I definitely, after watching yesterday,
Raw was yesterday.
Was it? What's today? Yep, you're right. Watching it yesterday, my mind kind of went there too. Like, I think the impossible's going to probably happen.
Right?
Just because they were betrayed by the same person for the person that always betrays Roman.
I mean, and then you had this other note that I will ask our audience. Have you noticed that everyone betrays Roman and Roman doesn't betray anyone? Tanisha brought that to my attention. And I laughed really hard because I was like, this is true.
It's true. If we go back, we got to go back. Let's go back. The first betrayal was from Seth.
It was during the Shield days, correct?
And then it became Sammy.
Yeah, okay.
Then it became Jimmy. Then Jay. Then Solo. And now Paul.
You said it was Jimmy, then Jay. I thought it was Jay and then Jimmy.
No. Jimmy,
because Jimmy was first because he didn't want Jay with him. Got you.
Jay didn't want him with him, or it wasn't even that. He didn't want him to. No, I'm about to confuse. It's 2 different events. But Jimmy was the first person who hit him who did it. Then Jay did it the night after the pay-per-view because Roman wanted him to leave Jimmy behind. And he was like, no, super kick. And then Solo, because, he took over what was the bloodline and try to gas away his life through there. And then the wise man. And remember what he said too. He goes, once there's no more wise man, there is no more tribal chief. Yeah. So now he has a whole identity crisis because he spent being our tribal chief for 3-4 years. It's been long. It's been a long time.
I would say probably like what, 4?
Yeah.
5?
It's definitely after the pandemic, because he got with Paul Heyman during the pandemic.
Yeah, he did. So
he wasn't a tribal chief then, but he definitely became tribal chief.
Yeah.
After.
I could say with that, because they weren't sure what to call him for a minute, because they came back and they kept calling him the big dog, and I was like, okay, well, that's fine. But I agree with you. I can't believe that people just, Roman, why do people just betray you? I mean, I want to answer for that. Did anyone ask that on the press, tour that he's been on? Did anyone ask him why?
No, they're asking random crazy questions that technically we don't want to know.
Right.
I'm gonna leave it there.
I mean, did anyone that's a good question, people? So
that's a good wrestling question.
Opportunity to ask him a question. I want to know how it makes him feel that people just betray him, and why, in that case, he has not betrayed people. I mean, why not? Does it speak to his integrity? Yes, but I mean,
sometimes you gotta get the get back to get the get back.
I mean, there's something to say that sometimes he kind of deserves it, right? With some of the things he says and does to people. But I still feel he is a loyal, yes, but he's loyal-ish to them.
Well, now if we starting to dig in, is he really loyal?
I mean, as long as it serves his needs.
There we go. I'm about to say, is he? And then technically, is that really loyal?
I mean, he still shows up for you.
Well, when Paul Heyman was in the cut,
we talked about that. Yeah, we did talk about that when Paul Heyman
only CM Punk came out. But then again, at that time, I could see why he didn't come out, because remember at that time he felt like Paul left him because he didn't tell CM Punk no, so he was like, well, you're on your own. But I think if he didn't do that, I think Roman would have showed up. Or maybe not.
It's we know Roman only works so many days, respectfully. So that probably wasn't on his calendar. Perhaps he was doing some other things he had to do. So either way, fair. But then, what about CM Punk? So does he only betray him because CM Punk put him between a rock and a hard place with his tribal chief? So Seth is the better option? And then they asked this really great question that got flipped around on Raw last night. That was basically the original question was, how much did Seth pay Paul Heyman to turn on both of them? And then when the question was asked yesterday, because, to be fair, there was a lot happening with the announcement team, in case you missed that. The question was the opposite. It was, how much did Paul Heyman pay Seth to betray his two closest friends, for Paul Heyman? So Paul Heyman paid for his own betrayal. So I'm just kind of curious. I need an answer. Anyone out there? You got an estimate? You got a guesstimate? You go ahead and let us know. Also, we want to know what you think. Why is Roman always being the one betrayed? And do you think he deserves it? Right. That's a good question. Does he deserve it? There'll definitely be a poll on that on our Spotify, on our YouTube, and potentially the other channels this week on Facebook. Probably not TikTok, but you know what I'm saying. I want to know what you guys think. You can also hit us up, send us a DM. We answer everything, so hit us up.
Okay, hold on. We don't answer everything. If you send me something about, do I want followers, I ain't gonna answer you.
Okay, don't do that.
We don't want that. We don't do that. We don't pay for that. We don't do that.
No, we don't pay to play. But definitely, we're also on Twitter. I'm on there all day. So if you want to talk to me, or X also, I guess. If you want to talk to me all day, because I'm the one manning that particular channel, happy to chat with you beyond the things that I do in a day that are mom life and, day job adjacent. So, all right. So that was WrestleMania Night 1. So what grade do we give it, right?
I'm going to give it a B+.
A B+?
Yes.
I liked more of the matches than you do. So I'm going to give it an A- because I liked...
I mean, I kind of was thinking about an A, but then I was like, American Grande, whatever his name is, that kind of messed me up. And then I think there was one more match I didn't really watch. Anyway. Overall, the overall grade was a good one.
It was a good one. I mean, you still passed with a B, so...
I said B+. So technically, you're almost at a 90%.
I could give them that 90 at the A-. So, I mean, that's fine. I'll give them that. All right, let's talk WrestleMania night 2, because that was another one that was interesting. I definitely think we had some thoughts. Again, probably not much for you guys think is the things that I am most upset about for night 2 are probably not the same things other people might feel. But let's start with this triple threat match. We did one. We're doing another one. It was a great start to night 2 with Rhea, Io, and Bianca. So first, I think we were wrong.
Yeah,
I'm glad we didn't bet on this, because we would have lost. I definitely thought we would have lost, but
I definitely didn't see that one coming. I definitely didn't see Io keeping the championship.
I didn't either. I don't know why. I just did not see that as like an outcome that I could envision. I felt like I could have been wrong about the Rhea thing,
right?
But I mean, meaning I could have been wrong and Rhea would have won, but yeah, no, I never in my bingo card had Io winning at all and retaining her championship in any way, shape, or form. So overall, though, that match was physical. It was fun to watch. It was probably, I was going to say, that was my favorite women's match overall from the entire WrestleMania event was this one, because it was the great start, great energy. I felt like the crowd was in it. I was in it. I had to stop dinner. Like, my husband was cooking and I was like, you're just gonna have to bring it here, because I'm not moving from the screen. I was like, I am immersed in this situation. And so it was high energy, so much physicality. Watching Bianca, who is my favorite, I loved her interest with her stepdaughter.
Love that. That was nice. That was cute.
We love you. That was so beautiful.
Especially of moms of daughters. We love it.
Moms of daughters. And I loved her message that she can do anything she wants to do. Anything she dreams of. And I thought, oh, Bianca, you're magic. That is such a beautiful thing to instill in anyone. But I also love that it continued that theme of seeing, other women to empower. Remember that theme last year with the younger girls swinging their braids. If I had one slight critique, I would say my girl was nervous. So
I mean, but it's okay.
It was still fun.
It still was fun. She still, we expect our children to want to be in the spotlight,
right?
And sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. And or they do, and now they're there, and now they're like, listen, just a sidebar. I understand it, because I went to a dance audition a week and a half ago, and I froze. So I get it. I get why. And she's a younger version of me, and I can dance. And she was not. She did better than me, because I probably would have been like,
you would have just stared in the screen. I'm not ready.
I'm not ready. There's a lot of people watching me, even though I'm in this box. But I know she was doing that in front of over 60,000 people.
Right.
And some people didn't know who she was either. So, like, initially, I didn't know who she was. I was just like, oh, okay, this is good, because it's double Dutch. I'm a very big double Dutcher. I love double Dutch. So it was good to see here and see that incorporated. And I just thought the little girl was a part of what was happening, and not realizing that was a special moment, and also showing the bond that she has with her stepdaughter too. So that's even more beautiful and amazing in the message with her.
And she gets to keep that forever, which I thought,
she could be like, I was on TV. You see me right here. That's me. Yes, I was nervous, but okay, this sidebar, just like how everyone was clowning on Blue Ivy.
Yeah.
And then
that annoyed me.
I know. And then all of a sudden, now when you watch some of her, she started hitting it harder. Not saying that's what's going to happen with Bianca's daughter, but now maybe she's going to critique it. Oh no, I was too nervous. Oh no, you need me to come back up there. I'm gonna be up there and I'm gonna really swing the braid and do what I need to do. But we
say bring her back next year.
Absolutely,
next year.
Absolutely.
We loved it. Bring her back next year. Also loved her gear. Loved the roses. Loved it all. Loved her gear for the Hall of Fame. We are going to get into that briefly. Loved her gear for the Hall of Fame. Thought that was great too. Just overall, this match tops. A plus.
Absolutely. Very the technicality of it. Very the moves. The seeing Io fly through the sky. Especially how hold on. We got to talk about how they started the match off. They were about to try to mush her again. She went, absolutely not. You
I love that.
Not do that to me again. Y'all will respect me. And I feel like even though we did not expect it, but I understand why she probably kept it, because at the end of the day, she needs to be respected. And people were not respecting her as a competitor. And I was also proud that nobody from Damage Control, granted, I think everybody's injured, but I think Dakota Kai's not injured. Anyway, but I'm happy that nobody from Damage Control came out to interfere. I'm also happy I was wrong about Naomi or Jade coming out to interfere. Like, it was really good to watch the match and not worrying about someone coming out to interfere. That this, like, Io actually won this on her own, fair and square. And now it's just what it is. Like, I like that.
Me too. It just was great. I'm like, no notes from me. It was great. And I do think it legitimizes Io a little bit. Like, they were all little sistering her all previously, but at this point, we're like, she stood on her own. And if you got to see Raw, then you got to see her with Stephanie. And that match was awesome until it was interrupted, because, you know, that's what we do. But it was awesome. It was awesome. All right. So I know this next match you were not really caring about. And I know I picked Drew. The Sin City street fight. So
I think I
did you pick Priest? I think you picked Priest because he was from New York.
Yeah.
So
I watched some of it. From what I did watch, it was I didn't expect it not to be a good match, because they're both two powerful individuals and respectfully in their own right. Damian Priest actually has gotten a lot better, a lot better from when he first came up. And Drew, his technicality is always on point. So yes, I saw bits and pieces. I saw, you know, what I did see. I was like, oh, okay. But because I didn't really care about the match, because I didn't understand really what they were fighting for. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I just walked away a couple times. But I did know that he won.
Who won?
You were right. Drew won. How'd you say here? What you say?
No, honestly, I straight up forgot because it's been a couple days. But seriously, Drew never changed. Keep tweeting in the middle of the matches. Please do. Just because ultimately, the first thing I did in the middle, I was like, let me go see what he just said.
Oh yes, that was funny. I'm not gonna lie. Bored at work still. You know what? I'm not like that. That was ridiculous. First off, how you get your phone down there? Would you hit it in your drawers? Like, what you? No. That's crazy.
I think his wife was like in the seat. Like,
oh, okay. Because I see. No, I didn't see that part. I saw it. I was like, what is happening? What?
And then he handed it back after he typed it. Yes. I was laughing. I enjoyed the hell out of that too. It was just great. It was physical. It was like all the stairs and I felt really bad for Priest a couple times. I was like, oh my God, I feel like you need a hug. Are you okay? Is everything gonna be okay? It was a little stressful. And I like that angst during that match where you're like, oh, it's almost on the verge of too much. And there was no blood, which I also loved. So thank you for that. Thank you for ODE realizing that would have turned my stomach and I would not have been prepared. So yay, I liked it. I mean, I liked it. I liked the first two matches, and I was ready for this fatal 4-way that we were very wrong about for the Intercontinental Championship.
We were very wrong about. I have to say, I'm kind of sad that we were wrong, but I get it. And shout out to our followers that was rooting for Dom and saying he was going to win. You guys were right.
Our folks on TikTok, y'all were right and we were wrong. We can acknowledge that.
We were wrong. However, I do think he will only keep the title because people keep cheating for him. So, and I do think, this is what I'm going to tell y'all, our TikTokers. I think Finn is going to take it from him. That's what I think. That's me giving y'all the eyes, because that's what I'm going to say. I know y'all going to be in those comments saying, not our Dom. Listen, he is not no Eddie Guerrero. Okay? He is not. He's trying, but he's not. There's only one. But, you know.
Magic.
But I'm not going to lie. I mean, that match was very good. You did see Dom actually show that he can't actually wrestle and that it wasn't about... I think he even won that fair and square, too. Did he win that fair and square? Yeah, he pinned Finn, didn't he?
I mean, as fair as you can be. You forgot that, JD came back.
That was on Monday.
Oh, sorry. That's how much when you have a whole wrestling weekend and it all like comes back to you. You get to a certain age, it all starts to run together. Okay, I'm kidding. But I think he did. I'm
gonna need you to stop saying this age thing because we're the same age. And I'm not doing that, okay? I'm 2 months older than you, and I am not having all these issues that you are clearly having right now, okay? So I'm gonna need you to stop.
Even though you
sitting here trying to blame it on
things today.
But that's because I wasn't watching the match, so I didn't,
Fine, that's fine. I won't say it anymore.
Yes,
anyhow,
you're not gonna make me feel old because I'm not old. Thank you.
True.
As my gray hair starts to show,
right? And as like I told you, it could also be sleep deprivation. I was up a lot more than I normally am, so fair enough. But I was rooting for Braun, and I was excited to see what he would continue to do with the belt. Like, I love Penta, I love what he does, but I kind of wish and hope that he gets to reunite with his brother Ray Phoenix soon. But I do think this is where we're gonna see
they would be a good tag team for sure.
Insane as a tag team. Like, you don't even know what you're going to get. Like, so I know you haven't seen any AEW clips, but
no,
they were also in other organizations, so you could always just Google that, spend some time on YouTube. But I think this is, like I said, where the AAA situation is going to come in.
Mm-hmm.
I think Penta was a champion there.
Okay.
And I'd like to see what that looks like, because I think they mentioned a little bit in the press conference that we're going to start seeing some intermingling happening.
Mm-hmm.
But sidebar, I want to talk about Finn a little. I would say this is my only soapbox this week, but it's not. So I'm not going to even give you that thought. But I will say, what the hell
I already know. What happened with what? With Finn?
To my Finn Balor. The Finn that went down to NXT and wrecked the entire shop there. The Finn that just was unstoppable. I don't understand what has happened since he came back up to the main roster. What is going on? Why is Finn
Judgment Day? That's why.
Yes,
he should have stayed by himself. He should have stayed by himself, or remember when he was? Who was he with? He was with Was he with AJ Styles? He was with somebody. I forgot who he was with.
Oh, they were gonna redo the Bullet Club, so I think. But
yes, that I felt like he was good when he was the too sweet. That one, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. I just had to remember. I think he was good then, but then once he joined the Judgment Day, I don't know. I just think. I don't know.
Right, you don't know, but I do. But let me tell you, I'm not pleased. I'm not pleased with him getting this like second billing, it feels like. But I do see some shifts in order. I do see some changing. I absolutely agree with your prediction that he will take that IC title from Dominic and hopefully burn the Judgment Day into the ground, as it will. And like you said,
he's just going to leave He's just going to leave Judgment Day.
I could be done with all the judgments of the day. Like, I don't.
That's true. I mean, I don't even really. It was better when it was all of them together. I think I ain't gonna lie. I feel like the moment they put Lived in it, then I just went and it was just like, you can't bring to them what Rhea did. What Rhea did to them and what you're trying to do is not the same.
Yeah, I feel like it was a done deal a long time ago. The writing's been on the wall ages ago, and I'm just ready. I'm just gonna sidebar it here and we're gonna move on. But I just am ready for Finn to get his due, his story, some more headlining opportunities, because he shut NXT down. And I'm concerned that by billing him a little lower, by doing these kind of matches, even though yes, he is going to end up having a feud with Dominic, because I saw him staring at that belt and it looked a little special. He also didn't seem too happy to be, congratulating Dom at the end of that match there. So
I mean, he did, but then Dom got out because he was like, ugh, and I was like, Dom, are you mad that he caught you in the 619? Because I knew that wasn't going to happen if it did. But that's when I feel like that's when the turn came for Dom, when he realized he can actually probably do it.
Yeah.
Then it became, oh, so it's all for one for all, because I know if this was vice versa,
it was all for me. That's what it was, all for me.
But I'm saying he knew that Finn would have turned on him too.
He would have, 100%. That's true. And I'm not mad at that choice. I'm just saying what I'm saying. Justice for Finn. That being said.
Oh no, our TikTokers are going to be in those comments talking some junk. I can feel it.
I know y'all are. It doesn't mean I don't like Dom. I just want to tell y'all, yes, we grew up with Dom. Yes, we love us some Dom. Congratulations to Dom. But still, what about Finn? What about Finn? I'm not going to say what about Braun, because we know what happened to Braun on Monday. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying justice for Finn. That being said, congratulations to Dom and him taking that second to go back into the ring and be excited about winning his Intercontinental Championship. Because regardless of how I wanted this to play out, I was very excited for him and very happy that he's reached this pinnacle, because he is great at what he does. And he's grown in so much. I mean, I remember
from when he
him
first
coming out. Yeah. I remember him coming out with Ray and wondering like how they were going to differentiate him from his father and this whole deadbeat dad storyline.
I mean, I'm tired of that one too. I think we need to let that go because I would have been nice to see Ray come out and celebrate with him in the ring.
Maybe.
Oh, no?
Yeah. I think it's too soon for all the stuff he did to Ray's family.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I don't like that storyline of them doing what they did. I get it, like in the beginning, okay, fine, we're trying to see that he broke up and blah, 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 and he's trying to bench on his own. Okay, but that's been over 2 years now.
Yeah.
That storyline needs to be over. Like, that should have been over. That should have been...
So you just want that beef deaded?
It should be, because you keep talking about my deadbeat father, and it's like, at some point, I guess maybe as a parent,
yeah,
it does hit a different way, because it's like, all right, I got it. You did it for a whole year, but now you're still doing it as 2 years. And we know that there's some people out here in the world that don't know how to separate fake from real. So if you constantly keep talking about your deadbeat dad and how Eddie's really your dad and how then you know what's going to end up happening? Then now the people who don't know how to differentiate the fake from the real is going to start going, well, maybe this is the truth. Maybe this is really happening because now he hasn't stopped talking about it. He's going to keep talking about it. And I think for me, I think it strikes a curve. Maybe because Daddy not here or whatever, but it's still like,
I was going to say, I think that's more
personal. Yeah. Okay, fine. All right. I'm off my soapbox.
Yeah. I was like, I think it's just more personal for you. I don't care. I like that he blends it a little bit. I like that it makes you have a question. I think that helps make him interesting and a point of conversation. Either way, excellent work in the ring. Proud of you. I don't know how much we're about to talk about Joe Hendry and Randy Orton, because did you stay around and watch
I did watch it because I didn't know who that was.
What? Joe Henry? Okay, let me tell you something. I don't watch
First
TNA.
off, it's TNA. I don't watch it. I don't know.
I also don't watch TNA.
Okay.
But I will sing
beat me down.
Song. He was in the Royal Rumble, if you remember. He spent some extended time in NXT. I don't watch NXT. You will. I very much, this is what we're working on. I just enjoy him. I don't know how you don't enjoy Joe Henry and his his face and his song. It's so contagious. You just got to lean in a little, I think. Anyway, it was fun seeing Randy. It was fun having him come out of nowhere, since you're just going to be difficult. It's fine. It was fun to have him come out of nowhere and in that as quickly as possible, but I enjoyed it, and Randy made me laugh my ass off. And considering that it's such a 360 from what would have happened if he faced Kevin Owens, I liked the little levity, a little levity after that fatal 4-way. There was a little comedy, which I feel like you couldn't miss in a WrestleMania. A little comedy never hurt.
I just like Randy, so I'm happy he won.
Now this match I feel very strongly about. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul.
Oh, I'm so mad we were wrong.
We were very wrong. I don't know.
I'm so over Logan Paul. I'm okay. Me too. I'm sorry. I didn't know if you wanted to start.
No, you go ahead. You're strongly feeling about this too.
I'm not going to say Logan Paul is not talented. However, I do agree with some people's sentiments that he literally just came in and started getting matches with heavyweighters, the names, versus working his way to it. And I also feel like they did it because he has Prime as a sponsor or endorsement, and I'm pretty sure he wrote that in the contract. Well, I need to be, I need to fight good people, and it's just like at some point you need to earn your way too. You need to go through all the stuff. Like, you don't just become great because that's what you want to be, or that's just because what you're doing. Like, I am happy. Wait, hold on. I did walk away on this match, so I don't know. So I'm about to say this so you can correct me if I'm wrong, guys. No one interfered, right? He actually won by himself? Okay, so cool. See, he can't even win by himself.
Who don't watch this on YouTube, I shook my head no, because no. So let me give you a little bit more context since you didn't watch the whole match. So as usual, one of his homies comes out with brass knuckles, if I'm not mistaken. And then who comes out but Karrion Kross? He intercepts old dude, or AJ Styles does, I forget. Either way, he ends up with the brass knuckles, and then he gives it to AJ, or Alan, as he likes to call him later. And he gives it to him, and he's trying to get him to use the brass knuckles on Logan Paul, and he doesn't want to, which ends up ultimately costing him kind of the match. So it wasn't the best match. It was a fun note in the story. This was like I said, it was like, if you had to have a match, I guess this is fine. I am sick of seeing Logan Paul. He generates a lot of anger and irritation, which I think is good for business ultimately, because we all don't like him and we continue not to like him. And if I don't have to see him again for the next 6 months, I would be fine with it. But
that's the other problem too. He only comes for events. Mm-hmm. Like, you shouldn't be getting matches. You ain't the Undertaker.
I mean,
you ain't like to me, you not somebody that's important that can only, you ain't Roman.
He's not Roman.
You know what I'm saying? You're not Roman where you could just be gone for weeks, months, days, whatever, and then come back and fight. Like, you don't even have, like, your buildup is terrible. Like, I don't even know why you wanted to fight AJ. Like, I don't, whatever. I'm done.
I don't remember why you wanted to fight AJ. I think that was also a quick kind of hurry up storyline. I think he just pissed AJ off with some quick confrontation in the ring. Blah, blah. You're right. So anyway, Logan Paul won, and on to the next. Oh, sidebar. I do want to take a moment. This is an important note with Karrion Kross. So if you had a chance to watch his promo. Yes, that. After, in which he is talking to Megan Moran and Sam Robinson, and he blends a little bit of how we're feeling with his frustrations on the main roster. That was exceptional.
Absolutely.
I definitely recommend taking a look at it. If Logan Paul is going against anyone next, I want it to be Karrion Kross, because he's exactly right in that.
And he should lose to Karrion Kross.
And lose. You're right, because it's about time he loses to someone else who is not, the biggest name, because he also needs to lose and pay some of his dues. Mm-hmm. But it really resonated with me what Karrion Kross says, that like that thing that you do the right thing. Mm-hmm. And we're going to get into this because I'm going to get back on my soapbox shortly. That you do the right thing and you work really hard, and still there are some people who get these opportunities. And I know that life is not fair, but Karrion Kross has kind of been around for a minute. And while I do think he hasn't been the very top of everything,
he's really good though.
He's good, and he brings this interesting energy to everything he does, especially like this like devil on your shoulder thing he's been doing backstage. Mm-hmm. Like, I really have kind of enjoyed that. And even though he didn't have his own thing at WrestleMania, it was still good to see him pop up in this match. I'm glad they also went back to his original entrance with Scarlett, so that we can stop seeing whatever else that last one was. But this one where it's, this kind of spooky energy. Don't know if it fits who he is now. Don't know who he is now. I think that's another opportunity for development. Like, it was good to hear his promo about his frustration, but I don't know that you've told us as an audience who you are now and why that person is the thing. I was a huge fan of his back at NXT. Thought he was just going to be the next biggest thing. His entrance with Scarlett, I could not wait to see it on the main roster. So when they let him go, I was a little pissed. Mm-hmm. When he came back, I was kind of excited. But I feel like they also keep giving him chance after chance after chance to get over. And it just hasn't found the right note to hit with the audience. But this real feeling of frustration, that's resonating with people. So I'm wondering how they're going to build on that and tell his story in a way that cements his opportunity on the roster. I don't know if it's as a headliner. I don't know if it's a mid-card. I don't know. But I definitely think
he can have a build up to definitely being the mid card, or even depending if his story is so good, he should be a main event of something for sure. Because I could that frustration was a real frustration too. Mm-hmm.
Because it's real, and I get it, and I appreciate when they let us in a little bit, but also I get it, because I've been having the same kind of thoughts about this. Like, what's going on with you? Why are they using you this way? And is there a better way? I think, again, when we think about storytelling, sometimes it's really hard to tell stories for all these people at the same time. But that's what you guys are here for, ultimately. Like, that's what you guys are experts of, is putting together these umbrella storylines. I like to think of wrestling as like a man soap opera, right? And not everyone is able to get these storylines right. But if you can start thinking about the big picture and how all these people combine, then you're going to be able to give them stories that not only are impactful to the audience, allow us to cheer or boo based on whatever they're going through, but also to give us a sense of who they are and why we care. I just want to care. I want other people to care about Karrion Kross the way that I care about Karrion Kross. And I don't know how we're going to get there. So if you have thoughts, feel free. We're all for comments. So tell me what you think, what he needs. What is the thing that he needs to get to this next level where he's on par with these main eventers. So let's talk about the women's tag team championship match. I have thoughts.
Let's talk about it.
I have thoughts. So before we get into this, I want to say how pissed I was to see Bayley off this card. And this is before her interviews and all of this. What the hell? What the hell? This girl has been doing her work on SmackDown, on Raw. What is happening? What is happening with my Bayley? Why don't you give her the same energy that you give other people? And I don't appreciate it. Like, I want to see her on my screen. Seeing Bayley is one of the highlights, I feel, of a lot of these women's matches. She even showed it last week. I don't understand. Twice, as a matter of fact. That girl continues to be the star that she always should be. And instead of giving her her due, maybe it's because she doesn't leave. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's because she comes back, because she's loyal, all the things. But my girl deserves to be at the top and kept there, positioned there. I was ready for her to take Lyra's Intercontinental Championship. I was ready. They did this stuff with Tiffy, where Tiffy won. I mean, Bianca beat Bayley. Like, give her her due. She cannot keep being used as developmental talent. Like, yes, it's great that she likes to help others, love you, appreciate you. But like I said, they canceled her match with Roxanne. It just went nowhere. And so you have her out here in the abyss somewhere instead of anchored to a damn story. And I'm over it. I'm not only over it, I am over the writing team. Because if y'all lose her because y'all haven't figured out your crap yet, that's your fault. And you're going to lose quite a bit of your fan base. And if she goes to where Sasha is, Mercedes is, I'm going to be pissed too because I don't watch AEW. And I'm going to have to continue watching on clips because it's just not good enough. So don't make the same mistake that you guys made with Naomi ages ago. Give this woman her due and remember why she is that damn good. As Triple H always says in the press conferences, it's only so many attaboys that you can get to put up with the disrespect of being just shuffled off screen. He said, don't worry, she's going to be okay. Well, she better damn be okay because I don't like it and I'm over it. Okay, now I'm off. What did you think about the match and our mystery opponent with Lyra?
Well, I definitely didn't see it was Becky coming back.
I didn't either. That was a nice surprise.
I mean, was it?
I mean, yes. I mean, it was. Okay, because, so here's the piece that I'm a little torn about. We have Miss Becky, respectfully. I know she's been waiting to come back, and she worked with Lyra before she left. Now, do I think it made sense based on what we know about Raw for her to come back? No, I think Bayley would have fit right back in there just fine. And it would have made even more sense on Monday based on their longevity of the story. Whereas my hero came back and helped me beat Liv and Raquel only to turn on me on Monday. Like, no, ma'am. Bayley. Insert Bayley. That's where that makes sense. That's where that should have continued to make sense. And so, do I think this was a great story for Becky to come back to? Hell no. Hell no. But the match was okay. It was fine. I thought Liv and Becky and Lyra and sometimes Raquel did a really good job. But it wasn't my favorite women's match.
I mean, I liked the match. I watched it. It was... I mean, I guess I actually really was able to watch Lyra, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how you pronounce her name? Lyra. I mean, I definitely saw her matches with Bayley. Thought they were amazing. But to see her like perform at WrestleMania was really good.
Her entrance was good.
Her entrance was good. However, no, I don't think her tag team should have been Becky. I think they could have found anybody else to be her tag team partner. I do like the press conference at the end. However, like we know from what's on Raw, and I have my thoughts and my feelings about that and why it actually happened. No, it don't make sense that she became her partner just to eventually turn on her. But the match result, it was all right. It was cool.
It's good to see Becky back in action. I'm not going to lie about that. And yes, 100%. Rue is the cutest thing. She just, like you said, she stole Seth's whole face. It's not like being a mom and realizing your child looks like their father, even though you spent all 9 and some change months germinating this creature, only to have them look like your significant other. And
which means you hope you like them.
Exactly. Hopefully you like them, because if not, it's a whole problem and a half but except my daughter who came out as a mini me naturally. But she's more caramel. She takes her daddy's coloring, but she looks like me, thank God, because I'm saying I germinated that thing for 9 months and would have been very upset.
My daughter looks like me and her father.
I was gonna say it's a mix, right?
It's a mix. I mean, I have one child that looks like me, which is my baby boy, Chunka. Mm-hmm. Then we got one kid that looks just like his father, which is my 10-year-old KJ. And my daughter, in the womb, she looked like her father. And it wasn't even a 3D picture. It was just the regular ultrasound. So the eye sockets, I was like, why you look like you got your... How? She's the best mixture. I mean, granted, if you do see us together, because you see me, you're going to be like, she looks like me. But the moment she's with her father, you're going to be like, I see.
She also looks like him.
Especially when she smiles. When she smiles, there is no me. You'll just know she's me because she acts like me. That's about it. Anyway, so we're going to... we got time check. But let's move on to the main event. Unless you have more to talk about.
No, I said all I was going to say on this tag team championship situation. I'm fine. Yeah, no. On to the next.
Okay, so let's talk about it. It's the main event. John Cena and Cody Rhodes. Now, you were wrong.
Yes.
I was right.
That's what you wanted to lead on.
Right. But I was... oh, no.
That's what she wanted to lead on. She's been waiting this whole time just to say that.
Oh, my God. As I die. Okay. Yes, I did. But I'm only saying I'm right because, one, I did say somebody was going to come down to the ring and help him. Granted, it was Travis Scott, which I kind of said, but he took forever and 3 years to come walk down and didn't really do nothing.
I really would like to say, if you're going to invite a celebrity to come down to the ring, tell them there is a sense of urgency and that they cannot take the entire time, high or not.
I'm about to say the nigga was high. That's why he was like, oh, look at this. My music is playing and everybody's yelling and I'm gonna in slow motion.
Can we talk about that for a moment? Let's just isolate that incident right there. I have a lot of problems with this match, but that incident right there pissed me off. I was like, into the middle of this match, I'm like in it with Cody and John. I'm like, all right, this wasn't my favorite thing I was waiting on, but I'm in it because I love me some Cody, and I'm in it because John is playing this character.
He's playing his character, and he's doing his thing. He actually, and then also too, he actually was wrestling this time,
and
it wasn't his little whatever the things he does when he come in, and you're like, oh, he's just trying not to get injured. No, he was wrestling.
He was. He heard y'all, and he felt some kind of way, and he so much so that he fixed his ball spot. And I want to tell you, John, if nobody else told you, it looks great. It looks great.
I didn't even notice that you fixed your ball spot, so there you go. So now you got two people telling you two different things.
I did. And I think you did. It did a great job with that work. That being said, Travis Scott, like, of all people that I would have asked to come down to this ring and make a difference in this match, 0 of them is Travis Scott. None of them. Now, yes, I did say Cody said he was going to give him his receipt. But this man didn't even know how to take a crossroads. Put down the pipe. You know what I'm saying? Put down.
And I was like, I said, why is he? He's like, wait, hold on. You want me to be where?
Put down the medicinal objects before you decide to get in the wrestling ring. I hear he's training.
Yeah, I heard
that too. No Bad Bunny. You know what I'm saying?
Now listen.
No.
Listen.
If I never see him again, it will be too soon for me. Okay?
Not too soon.
No, I never want to see you again. Isn't he the one who had a baby with a Kardashian? Like, I just...
why we go there?
I never liked him anyway, because I was like, it felt like he was robbing the cradle anyway, but I'm going to take that aside from this wrestling.
Wait, hold on. If we're going to talk briefly about this, she was old enough to date him. She wasn't old enough to date the other person. So and they're two different people. The people she had a kid by, which is Travis, she was old enough to do that. The other person who was before that.
That sounds like, don't get me
started.
That sounds like she was not that needed to happen. Anyway, we're not getting into that.
You just brought it up. You know how I love my Kardashians. Anyway.
Yes. Yes, my thoughts on the Kardashians. We're not going to get into that.
No, we're not. This is not what this is for. I just
want to, again, we're going to isolate this only for Travis Scott. And I want to say, no, don't come back. Unless you're going to commit to this. It felt disingenuous. It felt disrespectful to the wrestlers in the ring and to me watching, because you took me all the way out of this match that I
watch you come down, and then you didn't even know what to do. You didn't even know what to do. Like John had to help you get up and say, "Okay, I need you to."
They should have just hit his ass with a chair and made him go lay out somewhere. If you're listening to this, Triple H, and I know you probably aren't, skip him.
But you could be, or whoever is listening from WWE who comes and watch our podcast, because clearly you listened to us the last time because you gave us a little bit more about the women's division. So yes, thank you.
Great. Appreciate you. More women on your. We'll talk a little about, again, we're getting to Raw. So if you're still waiting for us to get there, we're almost there. Don't worry. But this here, him, too soon if I ever see him again. I'm so good. And I'm sorry. I could be a hater. I don't like his music. I don't like him. And so I don't want to see him.
Okay,
so I'm good.
Spot. I got a soft spot because
I don't. And okay, I'm done. I'm sorry.
Okay, you're done? Okay. I have a soft spot for that song because that was part of Yazzy's solo last year, her recital. So, anyway, but I get what you're saying, because technically, like I said, he came to the ring. When he finally got to the ring, John is like, okay, hi, how you doing? You're finally here. Can you...
like, it did so long, my guy.
Yeah. It definitely did stop the match, because it was like we all had to watch you. Like, John couldn't even finish wrestling because he had to watch you, because you were taking too long, my guy. So yes, if you are going to do this, if you're really serious about this, Travis, if you hear this or don't hear this or whoever, how this happens, you need to commit. Truly commit. Do not get high before you start wrestling. Or if you do, at least do it at 30 minutes before, so you can be able to be focused. Don't do it before you even come.
You just need to wait till after. Just wait till after. You could get lit after. Win or loss. Get lit
That's
after.
True. You could be like Jay and at the press conference. And yeeting or whatever, because, nothing makes sense at that point. But it was funny. But see, he took your advice. He waited until after the match. The only difference was he was doing it the whole time during WrestleMania.
I just want to say, also, I didn't say this earlier, but Jay, you had 3 hours.
To sober up at least, my friend.
And you partied so hard that you sounded like my drunk uncle at a wedding somewhere. I just want to tell you, I love all you. Which, I mean, it was classic Jay. I mean, what can you say other than
want to know something? I'd rather him be a happy drunk than he could have been a terrible drunk. So he could have been mean. He was a happy drunk. So at least being a happy drunk, I guess that's why you get away with it. But homie.
Also, shout out to them glasses. We didn't have to see the eyes unfocused.
Especially when he was like, wait, I'm done? I can't get 2 more questions? 2 more. All right, where you at? Over there. And it was only 1 question, because they were like, all right, and we're done.
I think WWE's PR team had a lot of fun this week. Because that had to funny. Be are you serious, my guy? You're the world champion, my guy. Please hold that thought.
This is no better than him. This is no better than him and Cody being drunk at the press conference.
That was also funny. But Cody
and they won tag team champions. So they
Okay, that's fair. All right, yeah. So other than that section, back to Cody and John Cena,
yes.
Please.
Okay. Sorry. So I did predict it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually kind of happy he won. I do think what you said last time, that Cody now has to come up with something else. He needs to figure out who he is, because he did have this buildup of, I need to finish this story. I need to finish my dad's story. I need to finish it. And now that we had that buildup, now it's like, okay, now
what's next?
Granted, you did have some good matches. You had the match with Kevin Owens. You in that fight with Kevin, that was amazing. And somebody else, Seth. But I feel like
Seth, those were great matches.
I know those were, but there was nowhere for you to go after you completed the story. Okay, now you completed the story. What you supposed to do? if they wanted to, they could have been like, all right, now my dad, he said if he had completed, this is what he would have been doing. So now I want to, then that's continuation of completing the story, because now the whole basis was about your dad. You sitting here trying to compete with John and tell him how you this cookie cutter and what? Sir, boy. That's, at the end of the day, we already know us wrestling fans are bipolar. Number
That's
one.
true.
Second, look, nobody really was turning on John. Yes, we were shocked that he was being mean, but now I feel like now he has found the balance of being mean and still being himself.
Yes.
Where now it's more realistic, which means that hopefully he probably watched this too, because we were like, you are not being authentic. And now I feel like he's being authentically himself a little bit, while still trying to portray the character and not trying so hard, but still trying to be that. Because look how everybody like, yeah, John Cena, and then they go, John Cena, you suck. But hey, John Cena.
I mean, John Cena is an asshole, but he's a lovable asshole. And I appreciate, especially at that press conference, where he had literally the same statement for every single reporter. It was great. It was great. I was watching it and I was like, well, I stayed up late for what? But this was funny. And then watching him on Pat McAfee the next day, in which he goes a little bit further to explain, what he's doing and his plan. I still want to know how he plans to ruin wrestling. Anybody know? Like, help? Like, what does this mean? Is him ruining wrestling keeping that belt until he retires? I loved the countdown on Monday. Whose ever idea that was, it was brilliant, because I was counting.
That was a good one. That was a good one, because now he's like, yeah, y'all are cheering for me. And the RKO out of nowhere. I can see that being a good storyline. That's going to be a good feud. I'm not going to lie. I feel like John is going to be hitting up people that he knows that he can trust, that he wants to have matches with, and that he knows that when they get in the ring, it's going to be electric.
He said 27 appearances.
But what I'm saying,
and that is not 27 matches. He said appearances.
That's true. So I feel like if this is the beginning of him and Randy, that's going to be a good run. I don't think it's going to be a rundown thing of us trying to figure out what's going on between him and Cody. I get it. They had to do something so he can get the belt, but that didn't make any sense. So I'm happy that's over. And I'm hoping Cody will be able to figure out, they have a good storyline for him, or maybe he's going to take some time off and then come back. I mean,
that's a good point. I don't know what they're going to do. Again, I'd love to see, like I said last time, I'd love to see him examine, like, have a bit of a, we're going to title this episode WrestleMania Recap and Identity Crisis, because we've just said that like 4 times. But I think this is what his moment is. Like, who am I beyond this champion? I finished my story, so what's my driving force moving forward? And I think we need to know what that would be. And I don't know. I mean, I honestly don't know enough, because all we've ever heard since he's come back is about finishing the story. That's been the main motivation that man has had this entire time. And yes, he loves his baby girl and he loves Brandy. I'd even love to see her play a part in kind of trying to figure out what's next. I love seeing her walk with him back to the camper. And I love to see, like, not just like, but just ultimately how he brings a new dimension, a new level to who Cody Rhodes is, whether that's a heel or a babyface or somewhere in the middle. I think all the best villains have a bit of swag in their natural cadence and conversation. So bring it on, Cody. I'm ready.
All right. And that was night 2.
So what's your grade? You got to tell us. What's night 2?
A D.
You didn't even pass? Okay. Listen, we need more context. How is it going to be a D?
That's maybe because I didn't really watch it, because I didn't really care about that many matches. I watched, like, the main ones.
I'm going to need you to commit.
I mean, I was committed, but at the same time, you know me. If I'm not interested, I'm not going to sit there and watch it. Like, if I don't have, like, a commitment to it, as in, like, oh, I understand why we're fighting. Like, I understand. It may not make sense I understand. Then I'm going to sit here and watch it. Even if it's for my favorite people. No, I've never not watched the match for Roman. But that's other reasons. But for everybody else who I do like, I need to know why we're actually really fighting. There's been plenty of times I haven't watched a Sami Zayn match because I'm trying to figure out what are you fighting for? There's been plenty of times where I've watched a Kevin Owens match. No, but there's been time I walked away from Kevin Owens because sometimes I'd be like, I don't get what you're fighting for. If I don't get why you're fighting for it, I can't be committed to it. You understand what I'm saying? All right, maybe I'll take it back. I won't give it a D. I'll give it a C. But Yeah, I that's how far you. That's how high you're gonna get. You're not gonna get higher than that for me.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm gonna give it a B. I liked it. I thought like ultimately it just wasn't as great as night one. There were definitely matches that shined and some that I thought, what is happening?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, we kind of recapped those, but I definitely loved the women's triple threat match. I certainly loved, elements of that fatal four way. Randy Orton was fun. I feel like there was opportunities. Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre was fun. There were bright moments. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate like I said, the women's tag team championship match was fine, especially once Becky got into her groove, which I thought looked good. I would question Raquel a little bit. I would want to see a
She's
little
not at
more
her
trick. I don't
best.
know.
She's
She's
not at
not
her
at her
best.
best right now,
Mm-mm.
and I feel like I saw her be better at NXT than what's going on here. So I'm not curious. I wonder if I don't know what it is. I know she was battling some health challenges, and I wonder if maybe that is impacting some of the sparkle and the shine that I
Mm.
saw when she first came on the main roster. I mean, I certainly hope she's not worried about how she's being perceived, because she's gorgeous as always.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I just wish that there's something I think is a little off with her. And having her tag with Liv is a great, um, I don't want to say a mirage, but kind of a great way to not emphasize that. Kind of like what we talked about Jade and Naomi and Jade and
Mm-hmm.
Bianca. But I'd like to see a little more growth in her, and I hope that we do get it more chances now that she's tag team champion with Liv again. So overall, I think I give it a B. I didn't hate it. I could watch it again. I did watch the first night over again, and do plan to watch the second night again too. But I thought it was really good. Do want to sign off a couple things here that annoys me. This roast that you talked about 75 million times, WWE, only to tell us that we can't see it. You could have kept that. Like, you could have kept it. And some of those people who released the clips make me wonder that we may never see it, and probably for good reason. But you could have kept it, because roasts are meant to be controversial, difficult, sometimes painful to watch. All the ones that I've seen, I just want you to make it available if I choose to want to see it. Even though some of the things coming out have said it was brutal for some people, but I mean, don't talk about something we're not going to see. Hello, Television 101. Do not talk about things that we're not going to see. I understand you had to promote it for the people in Vegas, but they probably already bought their tickets. And they were in Vegas. You could have just did it for the in-house crowd. There was no need to make
Mm-hmm.
me sit through the 400 mentions of something I'm not going to see. As far as the Hall of Fame, thought it was a great event. Love seeing everybody get dressed up. It is one of my favorite parts of WrestleMania. The speeches were fantastic. I have a special place in my heart for Lex Luger and all the different iterations of Lex Luger, including his narcissist days, because I very much remember that, and I thought it was fun to relive some of those memories and to hear his dedication to his faith and how that has brought him. I'm always excited to see DDP and all the great work he's doing and bringing a lot of rehabilitation and healing to wrestlers. There's just something really special and unique and heartwarming about knowing that he's still giving us bang all the way years later, and that he's really making a difference in these people's lives. So I love that. I enjoyed reminiscing about the natural disasters. But I will say Triple H and his speech and Sean's speech were highlights of my night. Certainly hearing how Sean, they have very different speaking styles. And having Sean talk about, how they met and his commitment and his love of his best friend, even leading to a kiss. Wasn't expecting that. And also, thank you for noting that many of us have questioned how close you guys really are, because my husband better not be kissing none of his friends. I mean, that's not cool. I don't like it. Don't do it. But it was nice to see that, and I enjoyed it. And then the other speech that I want to give kudos to was Michelle McCool and The Undertaker. So great to see their love of each other and her heart almost in her speech. You could see
Mm-hmm.
her perseverance, her unwillingness to give up, her love of her family, her love of her husband, their commitment to each other, and of course her love of her faith. And it was inspirational. It's one of my favorite parts of WrestleMania. And I was sharing that with people earlier, is that being able to see these people who were one day like you and me, just out here in these streets living and being elevated to the highest of consciousness of pop culture and all of these kind of things through their association with wrestling. It is a reminder that every day that you're alive, every moment that you're here is an opportunity to change your life and make it bigger and better and greater. And so I hope that that's the message a lot of people get from this kind of thing, and it doesn't make you think, FOMO or thinking about a little bit of or a depression. I hope that that's an opportunity for people to really take away that every moment is your opportunity to reach greatness, and that these people are examples of how you can do that. So just wanted to have that nice note on my love of the Hall of Fame and why I enjoy it every year.
Yeah, I don't watch it. It's like graduation.
I know. Anyway, so before we close this out, because we're getting to that time, let's talk about Raw, right? Like, ma'am,
yeah,
what a way to kick off this quote unquote new season of wrestling.
Listen, that Raw after WrestleMania is always on point. You can't end from 2 nights of normally awesomeness and craziness to now have some boring Raw. No, that's when the fans are the most live, the most crazy. Now, are we gonna match by match, or can I just freestyle?
Freestyle, please.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about why I think Becky.
There were some thoughts there.
Yeah, man. Why Becky turned on Lyra. Sorry. Anyway, the reason why I think she turned on her after watching that match, is for the simple fact.
Coming in with the hot take. Here we go.
I am coming with the hot take. The reason why is because of how they lost. And the reason why I say how they lost is because, I don't remember how they lost, but once I saw it, it went, oh, I know why you turned. And I know why. It was more anger and frustration for taking your eye off the ball. Because technically, they had it in the bag. She took her eye off the ball, and that's how they lost. And looking at it, now watching Becky going over and like yelling at her and why and da-da-da-da, because ultimately, think about it. During a press conference, she said that she called her and asked her to come help her. Now, she's helping you. Now you have your title defense, which I kind of like the fact that they're going back to, like, after you use your title, you get to have your title defense again. Like, quick. I kind of like it, but at the same time, it's stupid. But, but I understand why she did it.
What's stupid about it?
Because let them at least have it more than a day.
But I think there's a reason. Like,
I know there's a reason. I mean, I know
it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. I mean, and I get what you were saying about why, if this was Bayley doing it, it makes sense because they already was fighting for the Intercontinental Women's Championship. But the reason for me seeing it from what happened and how she dropped the ball, because technically they shouldn't have lost, and she dropped the ball, and now she's coming at you like, girl, I came back for you, right. I didn't, and then for you to not pay attention, and now we lost them. Yes, I'm frustrated. I think she beat her up for being frustrated. I don't think she beat her up to become the heel or like backstabbing or whatever. I think it was like, I'm frustrated. That's what it is. Now, granted, do I think she's going to end up using that and going after her for the Intercontinental Championship? Yes, but I just see it from a different prevention. I don't think it was just like, oh no, she attacked her out of nowhere. No, if you watch the match, you see why she attacked her.
I think she attacked her because she lost. I think if you think about it, she has been out for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And she comes back and she wins. And she wants to continue that streak of being a winner. And Lyra made that not possible, like you said, because she took her eye off the ball, was watching all the stuff outside the ring and not paying attention to what was going on in the ring. And that allowed Liv to give her the oblivion and to pin her. So, yeah, I kind of get that. But Becky thinks she's a winner. So, I mean, touche. When she comes to your tag team, you're not expecting to lose. And so I think it was a little bit of, how dare you bring me into the situation and not be as good as you claim to be. So I think it was a little bit more of that feeling. Now, do I want them to continue their feud? Hell no. Like I said, I was ready for Bayley to become Intercontinental Champion, and I'm concerned that now Becky's back, that's what they're doing with her instead. And I know that Bayley commends herself on being a team player and doing what's best for business. But I might kick up a little fast if I was her, because closed mouths don't get fed.
To me, that's not best for business.
No, it's not best for business. And I think I see that. I think you see that. But I think at the end of the day, you're that damn good. So start respecting that, or you can lose her. And that is going to be harder on you than you think. Because remember, things were rough when Sasha and Naomi left. Now Mercedes. She hasn't come back. You know who I thought would have been a great opportunity instead of Becky to come back? Paige.
That's what I thought was going to be. I was
hoping it was her or one of the Bellas, or I was hoping it was going to be, because they're training to come back too. And I know.
Oh, both of them are coming. Oh, well, you know what? Because they probably want the titles. They want at least to have the titles once. That makes sense.
Also, that's fun. There is some, murmurings about a potential Evolution Part 2 PLE. So that would be a fun way to see more women showcase.
I mean, actually, I did like the Evolution. They need to do Evolution again. That was actually good to have all women. That was amazing.
It was great. It was fun, and I enjoyed. I know I saw it after the fact, but I really found it interesting. So that's all I'm gonna say about that particular segment. The other segment that really was fun was watching Rusev come back. I didn't know who he was going after. I was messed up watching that. I was like, who is he going for? Is it the New Day?
The one thing the New Day did was, we out. He's out. We don't want that smoke.
First one.
we don't want that smoke. Hey.
We're not getting the first one killed off of this horror movie. We're not going to be doing it. So we're out. And I love that. I love that energy. Because I was like, go, go, go.
Now that you said that, I'm like, we Black people know how not to be the first ones to die.
Now we got to go. I don't investigate.
Run, and we don't look back. We keep moving. The ones who look back are the ones where they get called and you're like, wait, what? Why? No. We keep running.
Hear me. She's gone. No, I'm out. So I enjoyed that segment. And then of course, the last one.
Wait.
No, I did talk a little bit about Dom and JD McDonough's return, but that was really to give context to Dom's win. But more importantly...
There's one more before we get to that one.
Okay, which one do you want to go to? Because I felt this was my favorite, but carry on.
You're talking about the end, right?
Yes.
Yeah, no, there's one more.
What more?
It's the one where we was talking about Stephanie and...
Yes! Thank you.
I was like, I said, before we get there, we need to get here, and then then we go there, and then we know,
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. You're absolutely right. That segment, thank you. I don't know if y'all were listening or if God was listening and he delivered, but amen and hallelujah, because I loved seeing that match between Stephanie and Io. It had enough segments. I was in it. I was on it. I was missing Booker T's reaction to that move that she does that we're not going to refer to right now. But I loved it. It was just so fun to see Io around someone who's kind of her size and still be able to, they were like well matched. It was very much back and forth. And then seeing Roxanne show up, because she always got to be up here. Seeing Julia show up, which I know a lot of people are not familiar with her if you're not watching NXT. I was like, hey, Julia, good to see you, my good dear. Wish that we would have finished that daggone match, though. I was like, can we get this again? Because it was phenomenal with Io and Stephanie. And I enjoyed that immensely, knowing that they both are strong in different languages, but still were able to communicate effectively, and to the point where you didn't see a whole bunch of setups and you didn't see any mistakes, really. It was just like, all right, there y'all know what you're doing, and you proved it, and you were worth your money and watching it.
I was so in love watching the match. You know how I feel about setups. I felt like I had seen nothing but one. But it was like, okay, I had to see that one. Okay, I get it. But their match was superb.
It flowed.
Matter of fact, that match could have been on WrestleMania, okay? Because that was entertainment. Just watch one person go for one blow, the other person go for another blow, to watch the athleticism. How we pronounce that word? I can't do it right now. I'm so sorry.
What are you trying to say here?
Athleticism.
Yes, you did it.
Hey. Okay, just so y'all don't know about me, sometimes I have a hard time pronouncing words, and I'll say certain things, but that's just me. Anyway, but to watch it, to see it in real time. And yes, I'm kind of mad that the match didn't end, because I'm like, the match was about to end and it was a good chunk of time. Like this was I feel like nobody was getting up. Everybody was watching this match because I definitely can tell you, definitely on just to backtrack on WrestleMania. On one of these matches, I remember watching people not caring. They kept walking back and forth. They were doing this. Then you would hear, yeah. And then they would, I think that was during Americano.
It was, which annoyed me a little, but it's okay. Not a lot of people know who he is. So.
Right. But that match was so exceptional. And to be honest, I feel like they may even set it up to be a tag team, like probably a tag team match. Not saying they're going to be tag team together, but I could see them, because I've watched Roxanne. She's amazing. I've never seen Julian, but from Julia, sorry. But seeing what they did do, because even when they came in the ring and they both looked at each other, and I was like, oh, I can see this.
Oh, yeah, they don't like each other either. So right. Julia and Roxanne don't like each other.
Right. But in that moment, they didn't look like they didn't like each other.
It was like friends right there.
We came in for a thing. Okay, well, you know what? I already hit her. You already hit her. So now we're going to switch up. You're going to hit her and I'm going to hit her. And then to watch Rhea come down like, wait, hold on. Y'all are not about to do my little sister like that. Okay? Right. The only people who can do her like that is me and Bianca. Y'all can't do her like that. And that was so dope. And like I said, watching it, I went, I know somebody from Creative watched our segment or watched something of our segment because that was what we were talking about.
Yeah.
So
I'm not going to take credit for that because I'm hoping that they've been trying to think about this. But I'd love to say that we sent it up to the universe and it delivered. But I also agree with you. And I think we've said last week, there's a million reasons why women cannot like each other. Lean into that a little bit. And if you pay attention to NXT, where a majority of them people came from, then you see there's a million reasons they don't have to like each other. Like, even if you watch, we didn't talk about Stand to Deliver, but it was great too. At some point we might revisit it, we might not. But it was really good as well. And it was, again, because they have the storylines to back up these matches. So you're invested and you follow it all the way through. From the women's ladder match, which chef's kiss on that, to Uba Femi, Trick Williams, and Javon Evans. And if you have not seen it, find you a clip, because 3 black men headlining Stand to Deliver, they delivered everything they needed to deliver, and I was in love, which is also why I had lack of sleep, because it was a lot of wrestling. It was a lot this weekend, and I'm still catching up. But yes, I agree with you 100%. I'm excited to continue to see the women take the center stage. Was a little confused though
about what?
All the women on the Raw roster. Where are they?
Well, apparently
our Zoe's, our Shayna's, our.
Well, apparently Natalya is going.
James, who we haven't seen since they called her up 900 years ago.
Well, apparently Natalya went to go somewhere and she started fighting somebody, but
Bloodsport, and it was good. I mean, Natty, I'm a fan. What was that? Low key legend? Yes, Queen. I'm fine with that. I love it. Come back and be low key legend, because that is who you are. Okay.
Absolutely. But I don't know. But I think we're gonna see more, and hopefully we do, with this now being a new season. Hopefully they don't just die them out like they do everybody else. Hopefully they get Bayley in this mix and do something with her more productive than her just being a mentor. Because I'm not gonna lie, look where that got Natty. Natty just became the person who was the mentor, and then forgot about how good she is. I forgot about what she actually really brings to the table. Forgot all about all these things, and then also you're just like, I'm a team player, so I'm gonna do it. Right. No.
As Booker T likes to say, it's about checks and championships. And that's what I want for Bayley. That's my prediction for 2025 for Bayley. Let's focus on checks and championships. That's what we want. I mean, F them kids right now. Checks and championships, Bayley. Like, please. Show the world who you really are.
Just don't bring Ding Dong back. Just don't do that. Just don't do that.
She's still gonna hold on to that. Yep. Well, this was a really long recap. We have gone through it all.
Wait, today. Now we gotta talk about Roman.
I knew you were gonna stop me. Let's go ahead. I knew you were gonna stop me, but since you want to keep rolling, let's roll it. Let's talk about it.
Well, we just gotta finish. This is the last. We can't end our segment about Raw and not talk about what they did to Roman. And who's now helping Seth and Paul Heyman.
God, yes.
And then what's going to happen? Is Roman and CM Punk going to now team up? Or is now
I think
Roman is going to... Did we kind of? I know we said we was going to talk about it more, but you know what? It's okay. You want to be done? I'm done. I'm done too.
No, I'll give you your time.
I'm just saying. What's going to happen? Is Roman and CM Punk going to bury the hatchet for a small period of time so they can sit here and get Paul Heyman back, just for the fact that Paul is still not going to choose neither one of them?
I told you it was for custody of Paul Heyman.
It was. You're right. It was for custody.
It was for custody of Paul Heyman, but yes, you're right. That the ending of Raw was exciting. I was kind of pissed that it was like the very last minute because I'm like, no. Now I have to wait to find out what's next. And it's on Raw. I was like, are we going to see you on SmackDown? Like, what is happening? Is this going to continue? Like, do I have to wait till Raw? What's going on? I hate the cliffhangers like this where I'm messed up for days on end trying to figure out what's going to happen and who's going to do what. But Braun Breaker, a Paul Heyman guy?
Never expected that one. I didn't see that one. But now it makes sense why he lost, because he got bigger fish to fry.
I mean, yes. But also, I remember Paul Heyman, I don't know if it was on some clip but I remember him talking about Braun and being really impressed by him. Maybe it was when Kayla was around. I cannot remember if it was one of those Talking Smack segments or something like that. But there was an entire moment where Paul was just like, I guess they asked him who the future was or something similar. And he said Braun Breaker. And like I said, Seth needs some juice. Braun could use a little bit more juice. I'm mad Carmelo's getting left behind with Miz. I'm going to keep saying this, man. You're forgetting about how good this guy is. But he's on SmackDown. So if we're building a new stable of people, I'm just saying Paul might want to hook up with, Melo Don't Miss, because he's also money in the ring. So I'm excited. I was like, is this a new stable? What's it going to be called? Is it going to be Seth and Friends?
Oh, see it now.
What can you see exactly? Seth and Friends.
It's the Paul Heyman show with Seth and Friends.
Agreed. I think that would be awesome.
Right?
Please bring it.
So when you guys say this, I expect a royalty check, okay? Because you heard it here first. Me. I said that part. Paul Heyman and Seth and Friends, okay?
I'm excited. I can't wait to see what happens next. I think overall, WWE did a great job of making this weekend about what's next. It's very much about, I can't wait to find out what happens. Like, I'm so excited. I'm so interested. I'm dialed in. I'm definitely going to be watching SmackDown because, and I just want to say, this is the first Raw that I have literally finished without taking a break in the middle because I go to bed earlier than that. But this Raw, I was there the entire time, had an energy drink throughout the day, and was locked in from start to finish on Netflix. So, energy drink. No, we're not. We don't get free advertising about that. But we will say, again, what an incredible weekend, right? It was a lot of ups and downs, a lot of feelings,
a lot
of emotions.
I
know you guys missed us talking about our kids. We brought you a few mom antidotes this week as we talked about some of the things we've experienced and how they relate to WrestleMania. But it's time to wrap us up because I got things to do, right?
I do too. I got schoolwork to do. I gotta go
pick up children and, plays and things and makeup tutorials to learn and then teach. So there's a lot to go on as we did this, but this was a great episode recapping WrestleMania. You know how much we love it and how much we love wrestling in general. I want to tell you again, if you have not taken this moment to find that bell, to hit the subscribe button, if you want to hear what's going on next and what we're doing and what we're talking about, because we have some exclusive content coming to different channels. So if you find us on TikTok, it might not be the same stuff that you're going to find on Facebook or X or on Instagram either. So make sure you're following us so you find out what's happening, what we're doing, and if we have any special guests joining us, because we have a few things planned where we have some more people that you might get to meet from our world.
Also, join our mailing list so you can also get exclusive content from us, bloopers, get to know us a little bit different. But, we are so thankful and happy that you guys have been interacting and liking what you have watched. Continue sharing it with everyone. Continue saving a video so you can reference it later, so you can talk about it with your friends, your family members, whoever. Understand, we're not just moms. We love wrestling too.